Hey guys, Bobinator here. I'm making this video to show you guys my newly theory crafted build, the chance to cast Barbarian. So this Barb is built off the theory that you don't always need full physical damage to make a Barbarian work. You can use different methods. This one involving a bunch of different chance to cast spells on his gear to help kind of shred down the enemies and cause a fireworks display while you kill stuff, which looks pretty cool. It's also not the typical build that you see around, so it's maybe not as fast clearing or as pretty as some of the other builds, but I take a little bit of pride in having some ugly builds that work. So the other important part about this build is that it gets the job done and is effective at running Hell Travincal with only about a pull's worth in value of runes, which is pretty amazing. Something that I've really kind of spent my time on in Diablo 2 is coming up with budget builds, so builds that the newer player can grasp and use to kind of farm up his better gear with. Because a lot of people that are used to Diablo 2 Battle.net were used to bots and duping and all that, kind of providing a healthy deflation or I don't know, healthy devaluation of the good items in the game, being able to get stuff for cheap. So for those of you that play single player or play on Slash Diablo, this is a good way to start, maybe on the new ladder, when all you've got is a couple decent Hellforge drops from Nightmare in Hell, and you can get a Barbarian going for pretty cheap. So let's get into the build. It's a basic Frenzy build. 20 points Frenzy, 20 point Sword Mastery, 20 point Battle Orders, and then I put the rest of my points after the prereqs into natural resistance just to get his resist up to something good enough for hell, close to max and everything, but good enough for the Hell Travincal. So here's the gear. Do this quick rundown. The main chance to cast items that are unique about this build are this Lawbringer Phase Blade here. It's got a level 15 Decrep, which is awesome. Slows the enemies, makes them easier to kill. Sanctuary Aura, which makes the screen all sparkly, but what it really does is knock back undead and makes them pretty weak and easy to kill. Got some elemental damage in fire and cold, minus 50% target defense to help you hit the mobs easier and proc your chance to cast abilities. Some life steal and some dexterity and gold find. Also, we use a Voice of Reason. This one gives 15% chance to cast level 13 Frozen Orb, 18% chance to cast level 20 Ice Blast, paired with a minus 24% to enemy cold resistance. So this, in a sense, kind of creates a ghetto Frozen Orb Ice Blast with a ghetto Cold Mastery that a Sorc might have. A weak one at that, but it definitely helps chip away at the enemy's health. Also, we've got a variable here on this that does 220 to 350% damage to demons. This one's rolled a little bit lower on the 261 damage to demons, but all the Hell Travincal mobs are demons, so this really is basically like having 261 ED on the weapon, which is awesome. Also, you get a huge damage to undead, 356% on this one. I think that varies from 350 to 375. And got some cold damage on it itself, and cannot be frozen, which is very nice for a Frenzy Barb. Then we got Laying of Hands, which got a 10% chance to cast level 3 Holy Bolt, which doesn't do much, but it's awesome to see it flying out. 20% increased attack speed, and 350% damage to demons. That's a huge modifier that we want here. Just like the other weapon that had damage to demons on it, this is like straight ED that applies directly to the Travincal mobs. The other chance to cast stuff we got here is Inferno Strides, mostly for the max fire resist, 10% bonus to max fire resist. This gets us up to 85 fire resistances in Travincal, which is huge for absorbing that Hydra damage. Also has a 5% chance to cast a level 8 Blaze when struck, and when you're using Frenzy and running around like a maniac, and this proc looks pretty cool to see a Wake of Fire in your behind you. Anyway, the last portion of the chance to cast items is a Carrion Wind Ring. It's got 8 to 10% life leech, I believe. This one's got 8. Has 10% chance to cast a level 10 Poison Nova when struck, which is really cool when it goes off. 8% chance to cast a level 13 Twister on striking, which, even though it's only 8% chance, when you're swinging this fast, tends to go off a lot. You'll see that when we do the run. And a little bit of Poison Res to top off our poison resistance. The rest of the build is pretty basic, really cheap items. We got a String of Ears for the damage reduction and the life lead. This one's a low roll, so you guys can see how a low roll would do. A one-piece angelic ring and amulet, and like you guys know, that's for the attack rating. A basic smoke rune word, just because we need some more resistances, and everything else is kind of whatever on this, but it gets us up to able to do travs. And then the last big piece of gear is the Guilams, or Guillams, I don't know how the hell to say it, face helmet, G-face they call it, and this is one of the best melee helmets in the game, but it's very easy to find. So the big part is the 35% chance of crushing blow, 15% deadly strike, and 15 to strength, and 30% lightning resistance. We get that 30% lightning resistance from the Ort rune that we put in the helmet. Yeah, so that's the basic build. I've got some BO sticks on Switch, and obviously I have nothing in my inventory. So with the extra resistances that we still lack a little bit of, you could definitely grab some random resist charms, or MF charms, or damage charms, or anything that floats your boat to get this character a little more up to your liking. That said, we end up with, after our BO, we end up with, looks like 85 fire resistance, 42 cold res, which is not that important because there's not really much cold damage going on, 72 light res, which is almost perfect, 75 poison res, which is not that important, but it's max, so it's awesome, and 2600 life. This is at level 79. Okay, so we put enough strength and dex for our equipment, and then we've got the rest into vitality. I probably could have made this a little bit more perfected. I know I get some extra dex from some of the weapons, so I probably could have stacked that on the right way and gotten a little bit more efficient with that. But anyway, that's the basic build, and let me show you how it works. So we got a big stack of travincal mobs here. I like to try to kind of lure them out so you get a little bit less on you at the very beginning, because taking damage from all of them at once tends to hit pretty hard. As you can see, I'm casting Ice Blast, Tornadoes. There's some frozen orbs, which is cool. Tend to go down actually fairly quickly in a one-player game. There's that decrep. You notice how slow they are with decrep and with the cold damage. It's pretty awesome. Look at all those frozen orbs. Cool thing about this build too is it's so much RNG that can make one run frustrating and one run awesome. But it's definitely fun, that's for sure. Also, that aura that we've got. Oh, there's my blaze. But that aura giving the sparkly effect on the map is pretty fun too. There goes my Poison Nova. Oop, I got amped. Don't be afraid to run away for a second to get your bearings a little bit. You have these mobs decrept, so getting away from them with your extremely fast run from your frenzy is very easy. If you look like you might die, just run out for a second. Let yourself drink a red pot, and you'll be fine. You know, it's not as fast as maybe a whirler is, but as you can see, it's still pretty damn fast. It's pretty awesome. And there you go, there's a trav run. We already found a rune here. The more regular runes you find, the more chance you have to find a high rune. Got a bunch of gold here from our gold find gear for all your gambling needs. And unique to boot. So that is the basic chance to cast Barbarian build. Hope you guys liked it. I want to shout out to some of the guys that helped me theory craft this. Roy, Magic Void, and Rad. And also a special thanks to Magic Void for helping me work on the guide and lending me some gear to help me out starting this guy, and especially to lending me his character Let Me Smash. We turned his Barbarian into this build since I was too lazy to level a Barbarian. So now you've got an awesome level 79 chance to cast Barb. I hope you enjoy it, buddy. Thanks for all the help, and thanks for watching, you guys.